We're going to do a little study this morning down by the Tenterfield Creek, and there's an old railway bridge behind me. I think they call it
Sunnyside Bridge, but
it's falling down. It won't be long before it falls into the creek. So I thought that was a wonderful place to do a little study. We're looking at Luke chapter 21 verse 33. Let me just get that. You know, that bridge behind us, probably built 100 years ago or more, and it's finally reached the end of its life and it's stumbling down. Hasn't been maintained, not being used anymore. The line is closed and it's come to the end of its journey. And Jesus says in Luke 21, he said, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away." You know, everything we build will pass away, and we too will pass away. Now we look at Isaiah 40, 1-8. Even 700 years before Jesus was on this earth, Isaiah, the prophet, was speaking to the people with similar messages. When he said, "A voice cries out," and I said, "What shall I cry?" And he said, "All people are like grass, all their faithfulness is like flowers of the field. The grass withers and the flowers fall, because the breath of the Lord blows on them. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of our God endures forever." So here's two strong biblical messages, one from Jesus saying that my words will live forever, and Isaiah saying the word of our God endures forever. So we should be reading his word, we should be listening to his word, and we'll do that now. We'll go to Luke 13 from verse 22. If he says his words are going to last forever, we should know what they are, listen to them. So let's have a look at some of the words of Jesus, and there's many of them, of course, in the Bible. Lots of wonderful wisdom and guidance. But from Luke 13, he's talking about the narrow door. "Then Jesus went through the towns and villages, teaching as he made his way to Jerusalem. Someone asked him, 'Lord, are only a few people going to be saved?' He said to them, 'Make every effort to enter through the narrow door, because many, I tell you, will try to enter and will not be able to.'" When he says make every effort, another translation says strive to enter through the narrow door. Once the owner of the house gets up and closes the door, you will stand outside knocking and pleading, "Sir, open the door for us." But he will answer, "I don't know you or where you come from." Then you will say, "We ate and we drank with you, and you taught in our streets." But he will reply, "I don't know you or where you come from. Away from me, all you evildoers." There will be weeping there and gnashing of teeth when you see Abraham, Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets of the kingdom of God, but you yourselves thrown out. People will come from the east and the west and the north and the south and will take their places at the feast in the kingdom of God. Indeed, there will those who are last who will be first, and first will be last. Jesus told many parables and many stories about the kingdom of heaven, about how we need to be ready to enter into the kingdom of heaven. And our time will come. Like this bridge behind me, we will get old and grey and aches and pains, and we will be humbled and we will return to dust. But then in John 15, let's have a look at John 15. He says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples." As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. You know, research has shown that about 88% of Christians in the United States of America do not read the Bible. How can his words remain in you if you don't read them? It's most important that you stay in the Word and that the Word stays in you. Otherwise, we're going to get to that narrow door, at the end of the narrow door, and he won't know us. Who are you? Do I know you? Do we know Jesus? It's time we go back into his Word, take it on board, and live it. Let it come out of our mouths. Let it be a blessing to others as we share his Word and his love with a dying world around us. So let's not just be a bridge that's going to fall into the ground without fulfilling our purpose, which is to glorify God and to follow Jesus into the kingdom of heaven. You have a great day. We'll see you later.